By now, you should have received the request for water resources returns for the last 2 years. This video guidance will help you complete the form for a non-hydropower abstraction. If you are a hydropower user, then please watch the other video for hydropower returns. This video will cover completing a paper return and an electronic return. If you've received this form on an email, then click the attached Excel document to open it. Depending on the version of Excel you are using, you may have to click Enable Content or Enable Macros. Once the Excel document is open, you will need to save it by going to File and Save As and saving it to your computer. You will need to remember where you've saved it because you need to go back to that file later in the process. Each form has a unique reference number. This is in the top of the form. Please quote this number in any correspondence with us. Some of the details on the form are pre-populated. For example, Section 1 and Section 2. If any of these details are incorrect, then please continue to complete the form and call or email us to notify us of what needs changing. Because you have received more than one form, to work out which form to complete, you'll need to look at the return period, which is stated at the top here, and also Section 1 to look at the purpose and details of the license. You'll need to complete the blue sections of the form, starting with Section 3. If you are completing an electronic return, then please look for drop-down menus. If any of the pop-up boxes are blocking any part of the form, you just click and drag the box out of the way in order to see the rest of the form. So we'll start completing an example form. So Section 3, a nil return. A nil return is a declaration that you have not abstracted any water during the return period. Select Yes to declare a nil return, and then proceed to the next tab or next page if you're a paper customer. If you are not submitting a nil return and you have therefore used water, then select No and continue to the next part of the form. Section 4, Measurement Details. Was a water meter used? Have you used a water meter to record the amount of water you've abstracted? If yes, then complete the water meter make and serial number in Section 4.1. I'll fill out some example details. If you selected No or wrote No in Section 4, then go to Section 4.2 to provide us details with what measurement assessment you've used. If you felt like you needed to provide extra information or further documentation, then this can be attached in Section 5. Are you attaching further information? You will need to select Yes or No. In this instance, we're not going to attach any further information. And then we'll continue to the next page. If, however, you are submitting extra information, then select Yes and make sure you attach it to your email or that you send it back to us by the post. Once you've completed the blue boxes that are relevant, you can then move to the next tab or the next page if you're completing a paper return. The name and format of the tab will either be for a daily, weekly or monthly abstraction, depending on what your license states. In this example, I'll be completing a monthly return. So tab 2. If you've used a water meter, which we have in this example, then you'll need to enter the date you started abstracting water in this return period. I'll enter an example date. You will also need to enter the meter reading. Section 7. I'm just going to drag this box out the way. Please state if you've either used meter readings or if you'll be providing the calculated volume of water you have abstracted. In this example, meter readings is already selected and that's what we'll be providing. Now you need to confirm the unit. In this example, it's cubic meters. The next stage is to enter the details of how much water you have abstracted or your meter readings. The left column, column 1, will be pre-populated with either the end days, weeks or months depending on your license. Column 2 is where you enter the readings or volumes for each entry. If you want to copy and paste information from another Excel spreadsheet, then you can do this. I've got an example. Select the data you want to copy by highlighting it, right-click, copy. Click on the top of the column, right-click, and then this may vary depending on the version of Excel you have, but we want right-click, paste and formula, or look for this symbol. The estimated column can be pre-populated with yes or no using the drop-down menu if you're using the electronic form. If you're using a paper form, you'll just need to write yes or no against each entry. In this example, these are not estimates, so it's pre-populated each one with a no. You do have the option to rewrite over any of these entries if they were estimates. Next section to complete is section 8. This is where you'd write the date and the meter reading for the end of the return period. I'll put in some example information. Moving on to section 9. This is where you need to calculate how much water has been abstracted during this return period. The electronic form will not calculate this for you. In this example, because they're meter readings, I've previously worked it out and the result is 550 cubic meters. Section 10 is only for customers completing a paper return, which is the declaration. This is a lockdown for customers completing the electronic return. The final step on this tab is to look at this completion checklist. Customers completing an electronic form, this will auto-populate as you go through the form, and all of the entries need to either have a yes or a non-applicable value against them. Customers using paper-based forms, we'd advise you to use this checklist to ensure all sections of the form have been completed before posting it back to us. Customers using the electronic form will then need to press the Create XML button. This will save an XML document in the original folder where the Excel document was saved. It will not be clear that this has worked, you will not get any messages, so you'll need to go back and check the folder that you saved this document in. You will then need to attach this XML document to an email and then send that to NRW using the return details you've been provided. There's further guidance available on our website with a frequently asked questions document and more specific guidance for paper returns and electronic returns. So please refer to them if you've got any questions.